Hello, fellow humans. Welcome to Bifington's YouTube channel and continuation of our Let's Play of the Direwolf20 1.20 mod pack. Today we're going to get into the Botania mod. I made a short video about how to automate the Petal Apothecary and Living Wood and Living Rock. I put that out, but it's a short, but it's 9 minutes. And short, I don't know if that's going to count as short. It seems like an average length video, but it surprised me how much noodling I actually had to do to get that to work. And I had to cut out a lot of complete and total mess ups, which is funny because you think you understand something and then you go to do it on camera and you're like, well, I really don't know what I'm doing. But we got through that and the video's out there. Hopefully you enjoy it. I would like to say also thank you to the people who have subscribed to this channel. I think we have 8 subscribers now. Thank you, subscribers. Thanks for subscribing. Don't feel obligated if you haven't subscribed. You don't have to. But thank you for doing it. I really appreciate it. Leave me a comment. That would be nice to hear a comment. Anyway, so we're going to do Botania today. Here's the setup I have from the short video, and using modular routers to automate filling of the Petal Apothecary and making living wood rock and living wood. It's not living stone, it's living rock. And now I have a ender chest over here, and that is all the living rock. It's going in there now. It's getting set in there and going right into the inventory system. And it's in a storage door anyway. And so after we have more than enough, basically end up being a quantity called more than enough, I can get rid of this because I usually do this on a 2x1. Like need 2 chunks. I'm only doing 1 chunk this time because I think that I can use, or I should say I think we can use the Applied Energistics Fluix mana pool to store all of our mana rather than having a huge array of mana pools, because I really want to get into Botania to get in some, more of the end game enchantments, basically highest level enchantments you can get in the game. Because Apotheosis is in the mod pack, it's really high. And you can get the gems that will give 2 more levels to each one of those things per set of armor. And I think weapons, so it really is a chance to become really overpowered. I don't really know if it's needed. I guess maybe in the some bosses that might need it, so that's a reason to do it. And also it'll be really handy for the iron spells and spellbooks. Make those spells really do the maximum effect, which is really impressive. I do enjoy that. So let's get started. There are some flowers I would like to use more than the standard Endoflame. I would like to use the Gormarillis, I think is how you say that. Anyway, and the Rose Arcana. We have a lot of enchanted books and things, a lot of XP we can feed into here. And we have a lot of food items as well that we can feed in there instead of having this. But those things require runes, and runes are made from the runic altar, which requires mana. So you can't start with that. You have to start with something, and I mean basically it's either start with the Endoflame or the water eating one, the hydrangeas, and those turn to dead bushes after a while. I remember early when I first started playing Minecraft, Botania was a mod that I did the first big deep dive in to try to figure things out and understand it. Spent a lot of time doing it, and used a lot of hydrangeas. And now you can't use those anymore. But anyway, the Endoflame is actually just as good. So I've got some things in this chest over here to get started. Going to be using modular routers again. And so Endoflames, look at that recipe over here. You need brown petals, a red petal, and light gray. Yeah, I remember in the old days you had to go collect all these things up from all around the overworld, and if you had a farm world in your server, you could do it that way. And the light gray was always the last one that you could find. I have some light gray in the pouch here. I also have some tall mystical flowers. I'll show you what those are about. Right now, I'll save 1, keep 1 behind. But basically, there's a mechanism here where you can, let me put that right here. You put all these petals in the ground, and they make these like little paths that are glistening, kind of blink. What is that called? Sparkling. The word is sparkling. And so you can right-click those in the ground, and then come back with either bone meal or growth. I think growth works. Yeah, growth works. Bone meal or the growth spell. Oops. And it's easy to do that when you're doing this, to hit the wrong button. But anyway, you make these tall mystical flowers, which we then can break just by left-clicking them. You used to have to use a shears, and you have a big learning curve to go back and like figure that out again every time you played that mod. You don't have to do that anymore. And that's right, they don't go into your inventory, they go back in the flower pouch, and we can take them out and put them into a crafting grid and get a ton of mystical engraved petals. That's more than you really ever need, which is kind of the amount that I wanted. So, all right, so that's a good start here. We've got the red, the brown, and some seeds. We should just be able to, I don't know what I'm doing, hitting the wrong buttons. Okay, let's go. Should be able to make this in a petal apothecary. Just throw that at it. And it's 2 browns and 1 red. Yep, it's got it. It knows it's going to make that Endoflame, and throw a seed at it. It automatically fills it. And Botania has this wonderful thing that right after you make something, you can right-click it again. You can, for the petal apothecary and the runic altar. So after you make something, you can right-click it. If you have all the ingredients, it'll automatically repopulate it in there, and then you can just throw another seed at it and make these things just super fast. And I do want to know how many we're making, because I think we need about 24 of these things. I don't really need that many, but yeah, no. Oh, I did get it. It's ready. Okay, good. I was thinking I should rig up something to automatically right-click for me. Very good. We got 24 of these, and I'm going to put it all around this pressure plate, and I'll show you how to automate these things so it's feeding coal in there all the time. And when it's got a piece of coal here, it won't drop any coal. And you should also have a comparator on the mana pool farm we're going to have out here, saying that when this is full, when the mana pools are all full, don't put any more coal down there. So that's going to all be done. And we're going to do that right now. We put this stuff, I guess, back in here. And so let's get that started. Some dirt. And I'll put mana spreaders down and then the flowers down. And that allows the flowers to link to the closest mana spreader rather than to the first one you put it down. Like they'll all link to that first one, and you don't have to go through and relink them. And that's obnoxious, right? Isn't it? It's obnoxious. All right. 1 high is more than enough, but I kind of want it. It's modular router on there. And so that's just going to drop things. And it's going to be on redstone control. And I'm going to need a laser node right over here. We have everything we need. I would like to just use modular routers for this, but Laser IO has us figured out. It's still control, and that is going to be output strong signal, right? So it's right in there, and that will not drop anything until that. And oh, we need a polar module. That's right, we need a polar module. The other thing we need here, we don't need this detector thing. I was messing around with that. I was using that over here, trying to get this one modular router to do everything, but because there's only one buffer. If there's an input buffer and an output buffer, then you could modular routers could do twice as much as they do right now. Instead, because they only have one buffer, you have to have one do the placing and other routers do the breaking. That's kind of the way it goes. So we're going to connect that to this ender chest full of coal coming in from the inventory system. I'm just going to put it right there. I could put it up on top of it, but I'd like to see them flying through the air. I think that's pretty cool. So we want to move that over one. This is kind of the work order that you got to do is pick up whatever it's got in that chest. It's only got one thing, and so it doesn't have to be filtered. I like to filter things. Don't over filter things. And it's just going to bring in whatever it's got over there. And then it's going to empty blacklist by default. Take a look at that. Hit the C button. Yeah, empty blacklist. So bring in whatever it's got. And it will drop it. And I think here we have to say, it's going to drop it down. I don't know. Do we have to say that? I guess so. Sure, sure, sure. All right, so we've got this redstone, and I dug a hole down here because I was looking at something, and I think this works. So I can put a laser node down here, and if I look up at that dirt above it, it'll get a redstone signal from the pressure plate, and we should be able to put a redstone card in here on input. And I don't know, is that going to connect in there? It does, it does. Okay, so everything's good. Remain calm. Everything's fine. All right. So that's pretty much ready to go. We can get rid of this thing. And so it won't do anything until it gets a redstone signal. We need to start it. Is that right? Maybe it should be inverted. Because it's got something on there, right? When it's got something on there, then it will give a redstone signal. And we don't want it to drop anything. So that's what we want. So this has got to be inverted somehow. How do we do that? Redstone mode high. Oh god. All right, now it's probably doing something. Pulsed. Maybe that's what we want is pulsed. That makes sense? No, that's not going to work. Ignored, and I'm picking up the coal. Okay. It's doing its thing. All right, so ignored. High. It should be off. So it should only run when it's low. Is it running? It should have a high signal. You got a high signal, right? Why is it running? Sorry about that. Never. All right, so anyway, we just figured out that I had forgotten to link the two laser nodes, and so that's why it never detected that there was what the redstone signal was down there. And so let's go back and try the modular router approach again and see if we can get that to work. All right. And it's still got all these things in there. I like that it keeps us modules. And we want this on low. Only do that when it's low. And as you can see, it is controlling it very nicely. It's not running at all. So it's not even going to pull on a piece of coal until it's low again. And right now it is, of course, high. We'll just demonstrate that again for our own edification. So it's a high redstone signal. If I go over here and pick up this piece of coal, it goes low, and it's going to pick another piece of coal out of the ender chest and drop one. I should have one in the buffer. No, did it drop two in there? I thought for sure I saw two go in there. Where'd that go? That's odd. So it drops one and picks one up, but it's not in the buffer. Okay. Well, that's been figured out. Now let's make some, what did I just do? Let's make some other things. Okay, now let's make some mana spreaders. I already put the recipe in here for this. I'm going to use the sundry of, I think we just need 4 for this. Of various types of, oh, it's got petals in there too. It'll use petals, it'll use mushrooms. I left it so it wasn't exact, so it can use whatever it wants. And now we need to put these in the right places. And I usually like a 2-tiered approach. Ooh, too low, too high. So let's, it's going to be a 5x5 around here of the flowers. And so I can still put one right here. Oh, actually, it's supposed to go right there, isn't it? Yeah. And then these back here will go up. Yes, they're right here. Yeah, that should be a good height. Yeah. They have to shoot over the ones in front of it, so that should allow them to do that. So just put it here. And I haven't even made a wand of the forest yet. Let's do that. All right, let's get a wand of the forest going and some mana pools. I'm going to say we need about 10 of those. And a lot more mana spreaders, probably 10 of those. That's fine. Whatever you want to use is fine with me. Then I need a wand of the forest to be able to do this, and I like purple for that. Oh, I only have one? Oh, we have two of these. Oh, that's plenty. Okay. Wand of the forest, and we don't have any of these guys yet. And what are you going to use? Use the gray ones? No, I don't think that's going to happen. We'll use purple. Nice. Tree branch in here. Okay, so these are going to be shooting down over here. The flowers are going to go up to right here, so they can start right at this edge. And let's get this out. All right, put the flowers down next. I'm going to have, let me think. I think that's plenty, two strips. I have the next one right here. All right, so let's point these where they're supposed to go. To the left to shift right-click the mana spreader, and then shift right-click the pool to have it sent there. And it looks like that's going to get by there. I don't know. It's kind of, we'll have to see how that actually works out. May have to move that around. Can move these up one more. And yeah, it looks like I'm gonna make it in there. If we put it right here, I wouldn't make it. Yeah, that's terrible. Okay. All right, let's put some flowers down. Hopefully I'm gonna start in the corners, so you can each get one kind of going. That's not right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. There we go. And I like the way Botania does this. They alternate where those flowers are, how they're being placed in the block, so it doesn't look so boring sameness, I guess is the way to put it. One in the middle, it's a grabs where you want to go. All right, let's see. There you go. They're all in. So I placed all the flowers down, and what is happening with this guy? He's got nothing. How do you have nothing? I don't know. That one has not fired yet, as far as I can tell. They all seem to be handling the load just fine. What's going on? It takes a lot of mana to fill these pools, really it does. But once you get more and more generating flowers going and get to the higher tiers of mana spreaders, these things will fill up pretty fast. And this has no mana in it. Here, you can have that flower. I don't know why I didn't grab it. Slowly filling up. Same thing, shift right click the flower, then to the mana spreader you can say specifically. Oh, not that one. Here, it goes here. Did I get that? Yeah. And if it has a check mark on it, you can see it on the status of Endoflame, shows how much mana it holds. And if it's linked to a mana spreader, which it's check marked, and so it's linked, and they all should be linked. If not, they have these little particle effects, and they'd be full of mana. Basically, we're not getting enough coal down here. Basically, is what's happening. I figured out a way to do that last time. How did I do that? And you can do that. Just give it a stack of coal. But there's a way with laser IO. You can say to put in. It'll drop 8 at a time, or you can do a stack at a time. It'll drop a stack at a time in there. Yeah. Instead of a hopper, use a laser node. To feed an open crate, and there you can say you can drop a stack of coal at once, and so now everything should be. It's pointing the wrong way. Maybe that's the problem with it. Yeah, it's pointing the wrong way. Are you doing that? Are you making that? Let's see what we got here. It seems like it's hitting. Yeah, it seems like it's hitting. Okay, seems like it's getting through. That is really close. All right, so this is how you kind of get Botania going. So you make a lot of these Endoflames, and yeah, they will eat. when they have room to eat. Right now they should be pretty full. And actually, after they eat and give off the mana, they wait for a while. They take a break, and then they're ready to eat again. And so they eat anything flammable. Throw it down there. If you have a wooden sword, throw it down there. It'll eat that. So don't. If you need that wooden sword, don't do that. All right. So the next thing we need to do is just make a big chain of these mana pools and mana spreaders, so that this chunk is loaded. If you look under the Feed the Beast map, this chunk is loaded. And so on the server, this will run forever. And that's what I'm going to let it do. I'm going to let some mana build up, and then we can get into the other flowers once we have enough mana to run the, what is it called? The Runic Altar. Yeah, once we have enough mana to run the Runic Altar. That's going to take a while. And so, do some other things, move on to some other activities, But don't just like have one flower or two flowers and one pool and stand there and wait and feed it coal on your own. It's going to ruin your experience. Don't do that. This is a thing that it's time to spam some materials here. That's what it is. Just start spamming things, and when you break a mana pool, you'll lose all the mana, but you can use this empty sack of holding to move full mana pools around. So you don't need to break them and lose mana. And you can go, it can go on forever here if you want, but basically what I'm going to do, when we get towards the end, we can keep going here, is you can turn around and come back this way. That's basically what you could do. Sometimes it doesn't work out. We'll try that right here. And I don't think it'll work that way, but I think it'll work if we do this. So if we say here and go there, I think that works. You getting mana in there? No, I think that needs to be... So that's full of mana right now, if you look at that. I thought it was... Oh, it's not full of mana. That's not getting any mana. This is full of mana. Okay. All right, let me move that right here. So now it should be getting less... Now it's full of mana. And so that means that we can go one further, basically. We do it that way. And if I move that mana spreader on top of this one, and then put a pull down, this is empty, so it's okay to break it. Right here, can you fill that mana pull up? Yes, you can. All right. And so then you just come back. And it's nice when these things line up, so there's no... You don't want the mana spread. You don't want mana spreaders next to mana pools that are not in the right direction. So if you put a mana spreader there, it might take it from this mana pool here. I don't think it works that way. We kind of just saw that. It's kind of made not to work that way. But as you can see the way I filter things, I don't like to take chances. That's the last mana. That's enough mana pools for now. We need some more over here. Let's make some more mana pools. As usual, I have no idea how long I've been recording. That noodling time will all be cut out, so this might be enough for an episode, I guess. All right. One on top, one here, and then come back. We'll make it even. That stops right here. And this can keep going on this side. And we can probably leapfrog over as well. There. And let's get this one so it's facing the right way. There you go. And there are 3 tiers of mana spreader. I prefer to go from this tier right to the end tier, if possible. Of course, as we go to these other flowers, they'll be dumping enough mana that will be... Like, these spreaders won't be able to handle it all. And then you can just see how much room this basically infinite mana pool will save you. Because typically I would have almost a full chunk of this kind of arrangement here. And it's also kind of laggy with all these particle effects being rendered. One thing you can do, at least you used to be able to do, is to take wool. Let's make it wool. Does it take the color of this? I'm not sure if it does. It does. It takes the outside color of that. So if I make a lot of purple wool, it'll quiet all these things down. Makes them look also really cool. And you break it, you'll get more. You get the wool back. I'm sorry, you get the wool back. You don't get more. I don't know what I'm saying. That whole redstone thing messed me up. Oh, now it's nice and quiet. Wow. Endoflames are empty, which means that the spreaders currently can handle everything they're giving them. You can see this spreader is full, so that means that probably getting to a point where, yeah, there's an endoflame that is full. So let's go ahead and make sure that this one is pointing over there. You need to do some rebalancing, and that's got to be manual. And it's frustrating because sometimes, you'll change one flower, then suddenly this one will be full and this one will be empty, and now it's empty. So hopefully that's balanced. That's good. And if it's not broken, don't fix it. First rule of engineering, it's not broken. And so let that run. Let that run for a few hours, and you will use all of that mana 5 or 10 times over in enchanting. It takes a lot of mana, so don't be shy about the number of mana pools you're using. Okay, we're back. It's been about a day since set the system up, and it's full. I think you can tell that from all the mana pools being full. And I do want to note that after I put on the purple wool on all of these mana spreaders, I had to reconfigure them so they'd point at the mana pools again. They kind of like pointed straight out. And I also set up this little comparator. So the comparator is looking at the mana pool, and when it's full, it gives a redstone signal of 15. It's looking at this as a tank. And so this is a redstone signal of 15. I've got running over here to this analog device from RF Tools, and what that does is it does math. So here's the input signal on the top and the output in the bottom. It's kind of the opposite of the way you look at the inputs in the bottom down here, and the outputs at the top, and you have A and B on left and right. To right-click that, you see A and B. If A and B are equal, it'll do this math. And so what we have coming in here is a redstone signal of power 10, and it multiplies it by 0.1, and so it gives it a redstone signal of 1. When this equals 10, if it's less than 10, it will give a redstone signal of 0. And so that'll allow it to keep running. But once it's got a redstone signal of 1 there, it shuts this off. Because this is running, the modular router is running on a low redstone signal, which means it will only run if it has no redstone signal at all. So a power 1 is enough to stop it. And there we go. We've got a pretty nice setup here. If we reuse a bunch of mana, this will regenerate it automatically and stop. Okay, I'm going to bring the episode to a close here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.